How do you feel about being a driver in the metaverse? People playing as a character inspired by you. Is that weird or is that wonderful?
I definitely wouldn't say it's weird. I mean, I guess from being a Formula One driver now for, this is my third season, I've now been in 3 Formula One games where I am a character people can choose to play. Yeah, if I was to think taking that a step up, let's say a notch up like you were referring to in a virtual world, it definitely wouldn't be weird. I think it'd just be cool more than anything. I mean, I choose to play as myself. I mean, I don't know if I can be myself in the game and then choose to play as myself. That might be a bit difficult, but yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
All drivers practice on simulators these days. How immersive are they, and would they benefit from being a more immersive VR experience?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think modern day simulators, simulators at the lowest level, like what we're sitting in right now, and simulators at the highest level of what we practice on as Formula One drivers. Each team has their own simulator. Let's say some arguably more a bit advanced than others, but the one real difference obviously between driving the real car and driving the simulators is obviously the fact that it's not real. This is, I think, stating the obvious, but the reason it's not real is because let's say it's not the full immersive experience that you get when driving a real car. It's a 2D experience. You're looking at a screen. In my opinion, and in my, let's say, experience, anything that you could do to add to the immersiveness of that experience, it's just going to add to the realism of it. And that's what we want as Formula One drivers that spends so much time on simulators preparing. I'm all for adding to the reality of it.
Is racing in a virtual world something that appeals to you? What's the difference between racing in games and in real life?
There's definitely benefits, I think, to racing in a virtual world. Is it something I would obviously see myself doing as a profession? I mean, I obviously love racing in real life, and you get that for sure extra bit of adrenaline when there's a risk element to it, which obviously you don't have in the virtual world. But I think there could be huge benefits to it. Whether you're racing real people on a computer game or racing people in real life. Obviously, the physical aspect is different, but the mental aspect is the exact same. It's just as intense, if not even more, even more intense. I know we had some races where I was probably sweating more at the end of a virtual race than I would have been at the end of a real thing. So, I mean, I would definitely be up for taking part of it, because if anything, it's just, I think, be a good training tool and just a lot of fun to help kind of prepare and keep that competitive spirit going.
Definitely, that sounds great. And last question, what stunts would you like to try in the metaverse that perhaps you wouldn't try in real life?
Oh, that's a good question. So I guess the first thing that comes to mind, when I was younger, I was a big fan of Mario Kart. Everyone knows the famous track Rainbow Road. Well, for people who know Mario Kart, so you're basically driving, I guess, in space on a track with no barriers. But I guess that would be something quite cool to simulate in a virtual world, is if you were driving, a proper race car and a proper race on a track like Rainbow Road, kind of elevated up in the air. If you make a mistake, it's not walls or anything, you're just tumbling down. So yeah, that could be quite cool.
And a last bonus question, if they put a track in the metaverse as part of the Formula One circuit, would that be something you'd take part in and enjoy?
Well, I guess I'd have no choice, would I, if it's part of the championship? I mean, that could be quite interesting. So yeah, we'd have to see.
We'll see you in the metaverse.
Yeah.